A premature death of democracy. Expanded narrative introduction. The tragedy of a new nation in 1947. The birth of Pakistan came with a surge of optimism. A new dawn of democracy promised justice, equality, and representation for the Muslims of the subcontinent. However, the seeds of disillusionment were sown early in its history. Asghar Khan in his writing laments the derailing of democracy soon after independence, emphasizing how initial idealism quickly crumbled into autocracy and political decay. Leadership vacuum after Quaid-e-Azam. The untimely death of Muhammad Ali Jinnah in 1948 left Pakistan yearning for strong leadership. Jinnah's charismatic authority had effectively balanced diverse interests, but his departure plunged the nascent nation into a leadership abyss. Liaquat Ali Khan, the subsequent leader, was murdered in 1951, leaving a power vacuum soon filled by men driven by self-interest rather than national vision. Instead of fortifying democratic institutions, these leaders promoted personal power, further entrapping Pakistan in an unhealthy dependence on its bureaucracy and military. Absence of a constitution. A fatal delay, a critical misstep in Pakistan's early governance, was the delay in establishing a robust constitutional framework. From 1947 until the eventual adoption of a constitution in 1956, the country operated under a modified colonial law, the Government of India Act of 1935. Initially a temporary fix, it transformed into an excuse to stall democratic progress. Bureaucrats and military leaders exploited this vacuum, sidelining elected officials and diminishing the people's participation in governance. Rise of the military bureaucratic complex. Asghar Khan traces the roots of the military bureaucratic dominance in Pakistan to this period. The civil service, initially crafted to aid governance, took on a purpose of rulership with military support. Enabled by weak political leadership, this complex began dictating national policy. The inefficacy of political parties and their governance failures paved the path for increased bureaucracy control, climaxing in the martial law of 1958 under General Ayub Khan. Governor General's overreach and dismissal of governments. The misuse of executive power by Governor General Ghulam Muhammad epitomized the autocratic tendencies growing within the country. His dismissal of elected governments, such as Prime Minister Khawaja Nazimuddin's in 1953, despite legislative confidence, reinforced the peril of unchecked authority. Even more damaging was the dissolution of the Constituent Assembly in 1954, shattering attempts at constitutional creation and setting a precedent for legislative disregard. The subsequent judicial support in the Malvi Tamazuddin case legitimized such authoritarianism. The missed opportunity. In Asghar Khan's view, Pakistan missed a critical chance to entrench democracy, a path successfully navigated by India despite its own hurdles. India's early embrace of a constitution in 1950 and regular electoral traditions fostered governance stability. Conversely, Pakistan's constitutional chaos cultivated a cycle of coups and governance woes. This affected political maturity, eroded the rule of law, and tethered governance to individual whims rather than overcoming the roots of weak institutions. Conclusion. A continuing legacy. The premature demise of democracy established a norm of authoritarianism that persists. The entrenched military bureaucratic complex continues to exert its influence, masquerading interventions as national imperative.